All right, here's a couple questions just to check on how we're doing with them. So this question here, solved like this. You can divide everything by 4, which you did here to come up with this. Looks good. At this point here, you could write that as a root 3. Apparently, you just sort of square rooted both of those. What I would probably do at that point, if I have x squared minus 3 equals 0, if I don't have an x term, I'd take this to the other side and then use the principle of square roots. So I can square root this side and square root this side. You can't really square root them if they're being subtracted like that. You can't square root each one separately. But if you take the 3 to the other side, then you can do that. So then the square root and the square cancels out. And then on the right side, you have to remember that you get 2 answers. So both a positive root 3 and a negative root 3. There's a couple other questions here. 17. With 17, I would look for a common factor first. So factor y out. Then you're left with 3y squared minus 5y minus 2 equals 0. And just in looking, I'm not sure if you're really comfortable with, well, you might be, factoring this. So to factor that, you can do the AC method if you want. So you're looking for two things that multiply to a negative 6 and add to a negative 5. So it's negative 2 and negative 3. That's right. Where were we? Well, I'm not sure if you had that. No, it can't be these because these multiply to a positive 6. So it has to be a negative 6 and a positive 1. Yeah. So I write 3y squared minus 6y plus y minus 2 equals 0. And then group factor both of those. So out of the first ones, I can take 3y out, leaving me with y minus 2. And out of the second one, I can't take anything, but I always have to take at least something, so I'll take a 1 out, leaving me with y minus 2 equals 0. And then, because this and this are the same, I can factor that out. So I have a y minus 2, and I'm left with 3y plus 1. And I have a y out from up there is equal to 0. So now the 0 property would say that I need to go y is equal to 0, and y minus 2 equals 0, and 3y plus 1 is equal to 0. So y equals 0, that's one of my answers. And then this one I would take 2 to the other side, 2 to both sides. This one I take the 1 to the other side, make it negative, and then divide by 3. So those would be my 3 answers for that question. Number 18 looks to be a similar kind of question. You need to factor that y out, or the t out first though. So I've got 3t cubed minus 5, what's it cubed? Minus 5t squared plus 2t is equal to 0. So I'll factor t out, leaving me with 3t squared minus 5t plus 2. And then I'll need to do this similar kind of factoring as I did up here. So 3 times 2, positive 6 to multiply to negative 5. I think you picked the right numbers there. So I'd have 3t squared minus 3t minus 2t plus 2. So I split that into that and that. I think that's correct. Equals 0. And then I'd have factor 3t out, be left with a t minus 1. Factor negative 2 out, left with a t minus 1, equals 0. Okay, let me see if I move this stuff up. Now, I can factor that t minus 1 out front, and I'm left with 3t minus 2 is equal to 0. So then t equals 0, or t minus 1 is 0, or 3t minus 2 is equal to 0. So t is 0, t is 1, or t is equal to 2/3. Okay, so those would be my 3 answers for that one. Okay, let's see, number 19, you can just do group factoring right off the bat. So you took out an x squared, whoops, where'd everything go? Oh, I see. So you took out an x squared and a minus 1, and you got this, and you factored that, perfect. So you get a -1, a 1, and a -1/7. Good. And then 20 looks to be a group factor as well. Take x squared out, take a -4, so you get that, and then you can factor this. Good. So you get 2 and -2 and -1/3. Good. Yep. Looking good. So just a couple of things on 17 and 18. Hopefully that helps you out.